Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on the DC film Shazam. Now, as you know, Shazam is meant to be a 2019 superhero film that was meant to be based on the popular DC character known as Shazam, or as he originally was known as, Captain Marvel, as well as being the 7th installment in the DC Extended Universe. Now, the film itself is meant to be a loose adaptation to Shazam's origins from the New 52 run, and the premise of the film is meant to follow 14-year-old foster child Billy Batson, who, after running away from his foster home to search for his birth mother, to little to no success, is ended up placed in a group home, which he ends up meeting other foster children. Mary, who's the oldest, Pietro, who's kind of the less talking one, Eugene, who's a bit of a gamer, Darla, who's the kid character, and superhero enthusiast Freddie Freeman, who's kind of meant to be the voice of reason to Billy Batson and kind of help him come a bit more out of his shell. And we kind of see how at some point Billy Batson ends up getting the powers of Shazam by a wizard, and of course has to use them to take on Dr. Savannah, who ends up being empowered by the 7 deadly sins. Now, in the New 52 comic, the 7 deadly sins were kind of more sort of transformed into ordinary mortals, and in the comics, in the New 52 ones, Black Adam was supposed to kind of be the main villain instead of Dr. Savannah, who was more of a lackey. So I think for the most part the film does what a typical superhero film do, with basically kid trying to learn more about his powers. We kind of see how he's kind of learning the kind of ropes and becoming a superhero, and we kind of see how you have the villain who's meant to be a dark counterpart to the main hero, much like Peter Parker with Norman Osborn. I would say the difference between Billy Batson and Dr. Savannah is Billy is supposed to slowly learn and accept who his family is, while Dr. Savannah pushes people away and kind of got annoyed with his father for his crappy behaviour and his brother for bullying him. I think for the most part, it tries to be good at times, but at the same time I kind of think the other foster kids, like Mary, could have been a bit more engaged to help show that her being the kind of voice of reason to Billy Batson and playing the supporting role still in the family. I also kind of feel with Freddy's character is that he's meant to be a superhero enthusiast, but I think they could have toned it down a bit more to some degree. I think what made the New 52 version work, he was kind of meant to be like, how can I say, kind of like that friend you had who knows the ropes and gimmicks of getting out of places. And I think for the most part I would say, yeah, the film is meant to be loosely adapted from the New 52 origins, only with slight differences. Like, instead of Black Adam, it's Dr. Savannah who's the main villain. Instead of Dr. Savannah looking back in the Rock of Infinity, who ends up meeting Mr. Mind, it's meant to be in his prison cell. And I know there have been 2 other films that's going to be in the woodworks, one of which is going to be a spin-off film, Black Adam, in 2022, which is going to feature Dwayne Johnson as the main villain, as well as a sequel, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And I think for the most part I would say is that given the fact this is meant to be a loose adaptation of the New 52 origin, it does take some things away from what made Billy Batson's character work. I think if they took away Billy Batson's finding his mum part near the end and have him kind of realising that he didn't really need to find her, he actually had an actual family, it could have worked a bit more. So I think, to me, Shazam is a film that has minimum potential, but knows what it wanted to be. So I think the film definitely deserves 2 thumbs in the middles. It's kind of alright, kind of okay, but really it's just an average mess. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.